Okay, here I did some real quick rough sketches of my ideas on how to build this cabinet for my 3D printer. Uh, I know how to use SketchUp. I've used SketchUp before, but not enough, and I always have to go back and refresh things. So I'm not one that can sketch things out in SketchUp or anything similar to that. I, as much time as it takes me to relearn those programs, I could be using actually making the project. So I usually make these really awful first drawings, just to get sketches of ideas, and then I'll go back and measure and move on from there. But here are my first two thoughts. This is a side view, okay? So the machine would be in here, and the bed would go like this, and the bed goes forward and back, and so, yep, side view. Um, the main cabinet would have this slanted front, doors would open, not sure how, and then the filament case would be separate but attached to the top. Filament would come down through. These side panels, this would be trim, and then we would have clear acrylic, Lexon, plexiglass, something, going through so we could see it. Kind of like this one. It seems like this, I don't know, for some reason the main cabinet, I'm not real crazy about it having that slanted front. Then I went to a total boxy thing. Some people even use some IKEA table to make something similar, but it's just square at the bottom, square at the top. So these would also have trim. They'd make it look nice. But again, plexi. My top, backs, and bottoms would be made out of like melamine or something. But I would trim it out with, I think I have some cherry laying around. Those were my first two thoughts, and I thought maybe I'd mix them up. This one has the slanted front, square top, square bottom, slanted front top. I think I like this one best. Guy on the Facebook forums made one similar to this. Kind of like the look of it. I don't know what catches my eye or thinks this one's better. This one looks kind of weird with this on top. And I don't know, there's just something about that main cabinet with that slanted front. But yeah, so I think we're going to go for this one here. Okay, so I've given the glue some time to dry in those dados, and I have put a piece of melamine underneath just to give it some support, and then I put some temporary supports to hold the shelf up. And getting a look at this, it's big. Maybe it just looks that way because there's nothing in it, and I'm just wondering why it's so huge, especially this top part. You know, it's gonna have filament and stuff up there. I guess I could store some other things up there too, but now seeing it built, it's one of those things. You see the dimensions, and I'm wondering if it's just too big, but I guess having more space isn't a bad thing. The reason I'm taking a break and getting a good look at this now is because the next part stinks and I really don't want to start it. It's going to be a bunch of making rabbits and the frame pieces. So I don't really enjoy that because you have to be somewhat precise, and for a somewhat OCD person to be somewhat precise, it's hard. So well, there you go. That's where we're at right now. It seems like I'm doing everything backwards, and yep, I kind of am. I think it has to do with putting an empty frame around an empty case. It's weird, but I don't have the plexiglass, and I'm saving that to the end to see how much I'll need in the dimensions. But yeah, this is one of the weirder builds that I've ever done. This is how I know I've hit the wall. Everything's just trashed. There's stuff laying around here I don't even remember using. But you can kind of see how the project's going. Here's where I messed up. The router table, the fence, moved. And all I was trying to do was get these little 1/4-inch grooves. And man, it moved and ruined this whole thing. So I glued on a new strip. I got to sand it down still. You can see I got a lot of sawdust in there because it was really chewed up. So hopefully when I sand it off, it won't look too bad, but I know it's going to bug me. But yeah, so this morning, got up, decided I'm going to clean things up a bit and then get back to it. Because this is crazy. Alright, so here's that one piece. Still not happy with it, but cleaned up okay. I mean, that was a huge gap there, and you can only do so much with, you know, shoving wood and sawdust, or glue and sawdust in there, but filled it alright. I mean, when I rub my finger over, it looks like there still might be a gap there, but it's flush, so it's just going in the back of the cabinet. Good enough for me, for this project at least. I'm at the point now where I'm just fitting this front door. I'm probably going to recut this so that it comes down a little further, or put some kind of trim here, but I have a feeling I'm going to recut this so it comes a little closer to the door. But the idea is, you know, I'll finish the door. This is just the top rail, but it swings like this, so the whole door will swing up like this, swing up, and then it will push in like that. So I have everything cut and it'll work. I just have to put some runners on the bottom and on the sides so that when the door comes down shut, it will hit against those runners and stop. And then also runners here so that when you open the door, it'll slide on top of those instead of just on these grooves. So real simple. I just routed a groove down through there, and then put some holes and some dowels here. I might have to put longer pieces in there, but I tried to keep it simple. This is the door frame, and I'm going to put it together with pocket screws just because it's easy. If you haven't ever used a pocket screw, you get this little jig and a special drill bit. It's not very expensive, and it just drills this slot with a hole in there. The screws are self-starting. They also have huge kits like this. Woo. There it is. So you can get it, stuff like that if you're going to do a bunch, but it's an easy way to do some joinery if you're just getting started. What I've been doing lately is putting together the two pieces dry, screwing it in, and then putting the glue on. Because I found if I put the glue on and try and screw them together, they slide apart and go all over the place. So it's real easy. You just zip the screw in. It will move some, but that's it. You got a joint. It's not the best thing in the world. It's strong enough for what it is, but it's good for this kind of stuff. Oh, got a gap. There we go. So now I'll back that out, glue it up, and then put the screw right back into the same spot. It's getting late. I got a lot done. But I think I'm going to finish here for tonight, but I'll show you real quick. The door, I need to add hinges, but this is how the door is going to come open. It sets in there. I messed up a couple spots here, just attaching those. I didn't think that through very well. And then this it still needs its runners, but it comes like this. Ooh. And it'll slide in, slide out. Alright, so now I have all these holes where I screwed things in. Yeah, there's where I messed up. Might not focus well. Gonna have to fix that somehow. I didn't want to have those. I just wanted to glue those sides on, but thought better of it once I started putting this together. It would have been pretty flimsy. So the glue is holding it on there, but the screws definitely helped cinch everything in. Because some of the spots it was hard to clamp. So now we're just going to cut up some dowels and fill those holes. Here you can see some of the places where I put screws, and I just plugged it with some dowels. Almost got the cord. Almost. So now I'm getting ready to do some finish work, and I think for this one I'm just going to put an oil on this and call it a day. So I'll probably do a couple coats of this Danish oil. I like it. It makes things look really nice, and it's easy to apply. You basically just wipe it on, maybe come back later and wipe off some of the excess. You know, you could just do, really one coat's not enough, but 2 coats is usually okay, but I tend to put more on just for a little extra protection. So it's easy to reapply later on if you need to. So that's going to be the next step. I'm just got some paper towels, going to wipe some on. While sanding is usually the most tedious job, and the one that I like doing the least. This project I kind of skimped a little bit. Part of the fun of doing the sanding is knowing the next step is coming with the finish. So here you can see with the Danish oil, hopefully you can see, it's a very easy finish to apply. It's a lot like a wipe-on poly. It really makes the grain pop. Does give it some protection, but it's easy to do, and it makes everything look really nice if you like that more natural finish. So something that I've just started to use lately, and I've really enjoyed the results. So I'm going to get the rest of this done. Another thing about the Danish oil, everything I've seen and read, number one thing, be careful what you do with rags. I guess they're pretty flammable. So after you're done using them, just be smart before you get rid of them. So here's a coat of the Danish oil on the cabinet. Looks pretty good. There's a couple spots you can see. I just rushed with the sanding, and there's some glue spots still, but it's going in the basement to hold my 3D printer. So I think it looks pretty good for that. In case you're wondering, that's a weight that I use to hold glue downs. Yeah, I'm not down here pounding vodka. Next steps, I use Forstner bit, made a couple holes and put some magnets in here, and this is the front door, so it's going to come down and attach to some washers on another rail just to help keep it closed so maybe it doesn't rattle as much. And here you can see I got some of the plexiglass in, so just cut it to size, drilled some small holes, and put it up. Right now I'm not sealing it with any kind of caulk. I want to see how it goes. If it rattles or it seems like I need a more airtight fit, I'll do that later on. So I think I have reached the end of this part. I still have to do some details like get the holes in the filament, all the small stuff to still make it fun. But I got the runners up, the door comes down, a couple magnets catch, this door opens up, so filament's up here, machine's down here. I gotta get a handle on there, it's kind of tough to grab, but yeah. That's gonna be the new cabinet. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe.